Welcome to chapter 1 of Don't Just Sex It, Connect It. We're taking a look at God's blueprint for marriage. Okay, covenant is greater than contract. Rekindling the eternal fire. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 32 KJV says, "This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church." See, the difference between a contract and a covenant is the difference between convenience and consecration. One is built on protecting self-interest. The other is built on laying down your life in love. God never designed marriage to function as a fragile performance-based agreement. He designed it to be a spiritual bond, a reflection of his eternal covenant with his people. It's not sustained by good moods or mutual benefits. It's sustained by vows, grace, and divine empowerment. If you're going to 10x your marriage, you need more than better communications and more date nights. You need to rekindle the eternal flame, a flame that only burns within covenant. Let's explore how covenant overrules contract and unleashes supernatural intimacy. 1. Contracts are based on terms. Covenants are based on trust. See, a contract says, as long as you do your part, I'll do mine. A covenant said, even when it's hard, I'm still choosing you. In Hosea chapter 2, verses 19 to 20, God says, I will betroth thee unto me forever in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy. See, that's not negotiation. That's covenant language. When your marriage is rooted in covenant, you stop keeping score. You stop loving from fear or obligation and start loving from faithful trust in God. 2. Contracts have exit clauses. Covenants have endurance. Contracts include fine print that lets you escape if the deal goes south. Covenants have no back door. Jesus didn't die for us because it was easy. He stayed because of covenant. In the same way, we don't stay in marriage out of fear. We stay out of faith. Not because things are perfect, but because the promise is greater than the pain. When hardships come, and it will, covenant says, I won't run, I'll rebuild. I'll reignite, and I'll remain. 3. Contracts protect rights. Covenants embrace responsibility. See, contracts are about protecting what's yours. Covenants are about pouring out what's his. Ephesians 5 commands husbands to love their wives as Christ loved the church. That love wasn't passive. It was sacrificial. It was bloody. It was victorious. When both partners live in covenant, they take responsibility for the health of the marriage. They give without keeping score. They serve without expecting a receipt. They love from identity, not insecurity. That's how flames stay lit. Responsibility fuels revival. 4. Contracts seek fairness. Covenant births favor. In a contract, everything must be fair. But covenants invite supernatural favor. You might give more than you receive in a season, but God sees it. You might fast and pray when your spouse won't, but God hears. You might forgive before they apologize, but God rewards faithfulness with breakthrough. See, favor comes not from balance, but from obedience. Covenant gives God legal access to your marriage, and he always blesses what he builds. 5. Covenant sustains the eternal fire. In Leviticus chapter 6, verse 13, the fire of the altar was commanded to never go out. Likewise, the fire of passion, purpose, and intimacy in your marriage was never meant to die. When you view marriage through covenant, Date nights are divine appointments. Conversations are confessions of glory. Sex becomes a sacrament, not just an act. Conflicts become cleansing, not combustion. The flame doesn't fade, it burns together. Because when covenant is central, God fuels the fire. So you don't need a better spouse. You need a bigger vision. So how do you rekindle covenant fire? Return to your vows. Speak them. Pray them. And renew them. Take communion together. Remember who holds your oneness. Reignite intimacy. Don't wait for a spark. Be the spark. Repent where needed. Renounce any mindset of contract over covenant. Prophesy over your marriage. Speak life. Declare fire and announce revival. Say this together. The fire will not go out. The latter shall be greater. We are a revival couple. This is not just theology, it's kingdom reality. This is not hype, this is holy inheritance. Don't just survive it. Don't just sex it. 10x it. Burn again. Build again. Believe again. See, the altar is open. The fire is waiting. And so let's burn again. But let's burn again together. Genesis chapter 2 verse 24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Once again, before there was sin, before there was a temple, before there was even a nation of Israel, there was marriage. It was the first institution God established, created by his own hands and breathed into by his spirit. In Eden, God unveiled a divine design, a holy union, not founded on performance, but on partnership and purpose. To 10x your marriage, you must return to the original blueprint, the one drawn by the master architect himself. See, marriage was formed in glory. Marriage was not birth in brokenness. It was birth in glory. When God said it is not good for a man to be alone in Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, he wasn't diagnosing a problem. He was announcing a purpose. See, from Adam's rib he formed Eve, not from his head to dominate or his feet to be beneath, but from his side to walk beside him in equal dominion and mutual honor. That's why marriage is holy. Eden reminds us that every touch, every word, every intimate act between spouses is sacred ground. You weren't meant to just endure marriage. I'm going to say it again. You were meant to walk in the wonder of it. 2, God's blueprint reveals 3 mandates. In Genesis chapter 1:28 and 2:24, we see a divine sequence. A, leave. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother. You must disconnect from past sources of identity to form a new spiritual and emotional home. Leaving is about maturity and boundaries, creating space for something new to grow. B, cleave. Cleave means, and shall cleave unto his wife. Cleave means to pursue with relentless faithfulness. This isn't passive. This is warfare love. Holding fast even in pressure. Cleaving is the covenant glue that binds hearts in spirit. C, become one flesh, and they shall be one flesh. See, true oneness isn't just sexual. It's spiritual, emotional, and missional. It's blending 2 lives into one story, blending 2 lives into one mission, and blending 2 lives into one move of God on earth. 3, marriage reflects Christ and the church. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31 and 32 calls marriage a great mystery, revealing Christ's love for his bride. Your marriage is a living sermon. Every time a husband lays down his life in leadership, every time a wife rises in trust and radiance, it preaches the gospel. This means your marriage is prophetic. It's not just about compatibility, it's about kingdom calling. It's not about chemistry. It's about covenant clarity. When you love through conflict, forgive quickly, honor deeply, you are reflecting the eternal relationship between Jesus and his people. 4, heaven's blueprint includes pleasure. See, God is not shy about sex. He celebrates it. And when it's protected by covenant, Proverbs 5:18-19 says, rejoice with the wife of thy youth, and be thou ravished always with her love. Ravished means intoxicated. God created intimacy not as a duty, but as a delight. See, the world tried to steal sex from the church, making it dirty, making it dull, making it dangerous. But sacred sex, rooted in honor and joy, is holy fire. It's where God meets you in vulnerability and union. To 10x your marriage, you must unlearn the shame and relearn the sacred. It's a prophetic move of God on earth. You were created to walk in Eden again. You were designed to 10x it, not just in pleasure, but in purpose, in power, and in presence. See, the blueprint is in your hand. Now build with boldness and with beauty. 5, God's design was attacked but not destroyed. Genesis 3 shows how quickly the enemy tried to destroy this divine union. When sin entered, Adam and Eve blamed, hid, and broke trust. Vulnerability was lost. Intimacy was replaced by shame. But God did not abandon them, and he will not abandon you. Through Jesus, he redeems the garden. Through the blood, he restores oneness. The cross reopens the gates of Eden, not just spiritually, but relationally. This means no matter how broken your marriage is, God can rebuild it according to its original design. Let's talk about blueprint activation as we close. So let's activate God's blueprint. Let's repent for treating marriage like a contract, not a covenant. Let's recommit to leaving, cleaving, and becoming one again. Let's renew. Pursue your spouse with fresh grace and affection. Rebuild. Get in the word. Pray. Fast. Seek wise counsel if needed. Reignite. Let intimacy flow from identity. Let passion flow from purpose. In closing, your marriage is not ordinary. Your marriage is not accidental. It's not exhausted. It's a prophetic move of God on earth. Let me repeat. You were created to walk in Eden again. You were designed to 10x it, and not just in pleasure, but in purpose, in power, and in presence. See, the blueprint is in your hands. Now build with boldness and with beauty. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in chapter 2, session